All right, we're watching Toledo, Ohio right now. Donald Trump set to speak to the folks there. He is resonating in a lot of polls, not all polls. And this is what confuses me, because depending on the poll you look at here, this is a good national representation, or is it? Hillary Clinton has nearly a double-digit lead there. You look at some other representations, and it's like kind of dead even. What the heck is going on? Former Democratic pollster, the man who was such a big deal in electing Jimmy Carter that after Jimmy Carter got elected, he didn't even want to shake his hand. Pat Caddell with us right now. Patrick, good to see you.
All right, I have your high school yearbook picture. I have ready to unveil at the proper moment.
Ah, touche, touche. I had Lego hair back then, which has not changed much, actually.
Yes.
But let me ask you, and you know, it's interesting. You had a lot of reaction in your last appearance. You just said there's something in the polls. There's something where you don't put much stock in them. They are over the map. What's going on here? And we're going to be through all of them.
Oh, well, let me just start off by saying I've just taken a bunch of the national polls, including the one you just pointed out, the Suffolk USA poll. You know, and I've grouped them into bunches. The three tracking polls of Rasmussen, Investors Daily, and the LA Times. They are basically showing together a 1-point Clinton margin at the moment, a little less than 1 point.
These are national polls.
Yes, national polls. Fox, The Economist, and others, they're showing, there's a third one there, that are showing, the Ipsos poll is showing, Reuters is showing, those three polls together are showing margins of either 4 or 5, depending on a 2- or 3-way race. And then we have the really outliers here, the 9s and 10s, 11s. This is the margin, including the one you were talking about, right up to the AP poll at 14 points. And those margins are 11 and 11 to combine, if you average them. And then you have the outriders, which are the ABC polls, their tracking poll, which showed 12 on Saturday, 12 on Sunday, 9 on Monday, and last night reported 6, which meant that Trump was either would close the gap to 3 points. They have very small additional samples, 3 points on the day before yesterday, and last night Trump had to be ahead by 3 points. They're not reporting. This stuff is madness. It is.
All right,
there
so
is party margins.
What do you think is really going on? I mean, even in one state, North Carolina, we have one poll taking the same rating period, where you have a 1-point gap and another that is a 7-point gap. I mean, that can't be.
Somebody is very wrong, and there are lots of people who are very wrong. These state polls, you know, are at variance with each other in the same time period. We have Florida, where now the Bloomberg poll shows Trump up ahead a couple points. We have Georgia, which is 1 point, which anyone believes that, I'll sell them a bridge. And we have Iowa, where they show it, you're up there showing it tied, and there are polls that have Trump ahead or whatever. And then there are other polls that come out in North Carolina. Look at this. There's one at 4 points. There's another at the Survey Monkey poll, as I call it, has it way up. And we have Virginia at 12.
I know.
Think Virginia is solidly hers.
I'm sorry, I'm not clear. What do you think, Pat Caddell, is going on in the country right now?
Pat Caddell thinks this. I think right now the movement is toward Trump. And some of the reasons are what you just said in your previous thing, and it will move to some more. Here's what's basically happening. If you believe this race is in double digits, then you believe that all of the attitudes that structures, the attitudes of the election structure, is the country in the right direction or wrong track, which is 60% or more negative, is the majority is 70% in the country in decline. Bad numbers on economics, weak numbers on foreign policy, a 20-point margin against now what's developing on Obamacare. All of this, and most importantly, do you want to continue with the Obama policies or change them? And those numbers are almost 20 points for change. Now, if you think none of that matters, then you can have a landslide like this. If you believe, as I do, that there is conflict here between a race centered on Donald Trump's personality and these larger issues, then you're going to have a closer race. And here is the kicker. If this race starts moving more, as Trump is trying to push it, to these referendum issues, are you better or worse off, then this race is going to move. And let me just say this. When you have, as the Fox poll showed, not only 3 points, but the internals of that look much better for Trump than it has. But you go back to their polls in late August, to the Fox poll in early September, when they asked the question about the Clinton Foundation, and 60% of people believed that they were trading favors for money overseas. If that is the case, and we have a lot of evidence, today the media is saying they're having to cover this story, but they're saying there's no evidence. Well, Peter Schweitzer and others have evidence, and they'll lay it out, and we will see this story worsen. So if that happens, we're headed to a much closer race. It's that simple.
I really don't know where we're going here, but it sounds to you like anything could happen in the next 12 days, right?
People have to either suspend their basic attitudes and create a landslide for Hillary, or it'll be closer. That's all.
Sure. Or start drinking. Patrick, thank you very much, my friend. Pat Caddell.